Depending on who you ask, Kyler Murray is either one of the most gifted quarterbacks alive or the one holding his franchise hostage. He's too short, too emotional, too inconsistent, yet somehow too talented to ignore. Kyler Murray represents a paradox, the rare athlete whose brilliance divides the same people who cheer for him. To some, he's Arizona's greatest hope since Larry Fitzgerald. To others, he's the face of everything that's gone wrong. And after 7 seasons in the NFL, that question still lingers. Who is Kyler Murray really? Because his story isn't just about talent. It's about pressure, expectation, and the impossible task of carrying a broken franchise while still learning how to lead. But before the memes, before the contracts, before the injuries, Kyler Murray wasn't controversial. He was perfect, a myth in real time, a Texas legend who never lost, a kid who turned high school football into theater. And to understand who Kyler is now, you have to go back to where it all began, under the bright Friday night lights of Texas, where defeat wasn't even in his vocabulary. The prodigy. In Texas, high school football isn't a pastime, it's a religion. And at Allen High School, Kyler Murray wasn't just another believer, he was the chosen one. From his sophomore year onward, Murray was unstoppable. He went 43-0 as a starter, won 3 straight state championships, threw for over 10,000 yards, ran for 4,000 more, and became a legend before graduation. Opponents called him a cheat code. Defenders chased ghosts. Every game felt like a highlight reel waiting to happen. But Kyler wasn't just a football prodigy. He was also one of the top baseball players in the country, good enough to be drafted 9th overall by the Oakland A's. 2 futures, both golden. When he chose football over baseball, it wasn't about fame, it was about challenge. He wanted to master the hardest position in sports. At Oklahoma, he waited behind Baker Mayfield, then exploded for one of the greatest college seasons ever. 4,300 passing yards, 1,000 rushing, 54 total touchdowns, Heisman Trophy winner. And in 2019, he made history again. The first player ever drafted in the first round of both the NFL and MLB. That wasn't luck, that was destiny.
With the first pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Kyler Murray.
The arrival. When Kyler arrived in Arizona, the Cardinals were a wreck. A 3-13 team searching for identity, firing coaches, and hoping for a miracle. Kyler was that miracle. With rookie head coach Cliff Kingsbury, Cardinals built an offense around his strengths. Fast, fluid, explosive. And immediately, it worked. He won Offensive Rookie of the Year, made back-to-back Pro Bowls. By 2021, Arizona started 10-2, one of the best records in football. Kyler wasn't just exciting, he was electric. The way he moved, the way he threw, the way the crowd reacted. Arizona hadn't seen anything like it since Fitzgerald in his prime. For the first time in years, the Cardinals mattered. The desert had a superstar. But behind the highlights, cracks were forming. Late in 2021, Kyler injured his ankle, missed games, and when he came back, he wasn't the same. Arizona stumbled to the finish line, and then came the playoff disaster. In his first postseason appearance, Kyler imploded. 137 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. A blowout loss to the Rams. It was his worst game on the biggest stage, and for the first time in his career, the world started to doubt the noise. When you're winning, you're a genius. When you're losing, every flaw becomes a narrative. The whispers started immediately. He doesn't study enough. He's immature. He's not a leader. Kyler's passion, once seen as confidence, was now attitude. His creativity, now recklessness. And the worst part? Some of it stuck, because Arizona, a franchise long haunted by dysfunction, found an easy scapegoat in their quarterback. It didn't matter that the roster was aging, that the system was predictable, that leadership around him was unstable. The media saw something new to pick apart, a young, outspoken QB who didn't play by the old rules. And when he pushed back publicly, it only made the headlines louder. The more he spoke, the less people listened. The public had made up its mind. Kyler Murray was talented, but unserious. And then, as if scripted by chaos itself, the contract clause changed everything.
2022, the biggest contract of Kyler's life, $230 million. But buried inside was a single paragraph that would blow everything apart. A film study clause, requiring Kyler to study at least 4 hours a week, unsupervised. No other quarterback had one. It was insulting, patronizing, and humiliating. A public statement that his own team didn't trust his work ethic. When it leaked, social media erupted. Clips of him gaming went viral. Analysts turned him into a punchline. Even legends like Steve Young called it unprecedented. Kyler called it disrespectful. He was right. Days later, the Cardinals removed the clause, but the damage was irreversible. Every game after that, fans watched differently. Every mistake became proof. Every loss, validation. The Cardinals had accidentally planted a seed of doubt they could never bury. Kyler's image, once that of a generational athlete, was now rewritten as lazy talent wasted. It was the kind of narrative that ruins careers. And for a while, it looked like it might ruin his. The collapse. The 2022 season was a slow-motion disaster. DeAndre Hopkins suspended. Offensive line falling apart. Kingsbury's system collapsing under its own simplicity. By midseason, the Arizona offense looked lost. Kyler looked frustrated, snapping at coaches, throwing from chaos. Then came December 12th, Monday Night Football. Patriots versus Cardinals. Third play of the game, Kyler takes off, plants his right foot, and falls. Non-contact ACL tear. Season over. For a player defined by movement, that injury wasn't just physical, it was existential. Who was Kyler Murray without his legs? The Cardinals finished 4-13. Kingsbury fired, general manager gone, the team gutted to the core. And Kyler? He vanished. No press, no updates, just silence. 11 months of rehab. 11 months of watching the world move on. But in that silence, something changed. The fire didn't fade, it refocused. When he returned, it wasn't about proving others wrong anymore. It was about rediscovering who he was. The return. 2023. A new coach, a new system, a new start. Jonathan Gannon takes over, a defensive-minded leader preaching discipline and structure. Kyler, finally healthy, has to prove he can fit into something bigger than himself. The Cardinals start 1-8. Nobody expects anything. And then Kyler returns. Game 1. He looks calm, precise, different. He leads a game-winning drive. It's not flashy, but it's real. Control over chaos. He finishes the season 3-8 as a starter. Modest stats, but new maturity. He's learning patience, timing, leadership. And for the first time in years, the locker room believes again. Heading into 2024, Gannon commits to him as the starter. The team builds around him. And finally, something clicks. The Cardinals start 6-4, one of the NFC's biggest surprises. The offense hums. Kyler looks sharp, confident, dangerous again. Fans start whispering, he's back. But in football, momentum is fragile.
The paradox. The Cardinals close 2024 with the same frustrating rhythm. Brilliance followed by collapse. They finish 9-8. No playoffs, no statement win. Kyler ends with 3,851 yards, 21 touchdowns, 11 picks, and 572 rushing yards. Solid numbers, but not transcendent. And once again, the debate reignites. Is Kyler good enough to win a Super Bowl? Is he just average? Or is he trapped in an organization that never figured itself out? Because the truth is, quarterbacks reflect their environments. And Arizona has always been chaos. Since Kyler arrived, he's had 3 head coaches, 4 offensive systems, and 0 stability. Any other franchise would call that dysfunction. In Arizona, it's tradition. So when critics call Kyler the problem, maybe they're missing the bigger picture. He's not perfect. He makes mistakes, but he's also the only reason the Cardinals stay competitive at all. He's their ceiling and their foundation. And that's the paradox.
If this story made you see Kyler Murray a little differently, take a second to hit subscribe. Because this channel isn't just about stats or highlights. It's about the truth behind the players, the pressure, the humanity, the moments everyone else forgets. Drop a comment with what you think about Kyler, misunderstood or overrated. And if you want more stories like this, the kind that show the person behind the uniform, turn on notifications. There's always another story worth telling.